So I discovered NoFap in 2017, and before I discovered that, my life was very sad. Anywhere from like 13 to 16 years old. I was one of those lonely kids who would go on like those chatting websites and apps that like link you with, random girls and people around the world. So I would just like talk to girls and stuff online because I was too afraid to talk to them in person. And that just like fed even more of my addiction. Like it led to more urges. Like I just feel like more horny, and it made me more socially anxious and like less likely to talk to girls in person. Well, I never really watched. I was definitely more the guy who would do it to fantasies or like people I was talking to online, particularly because I was too afraid to talk to girls in person. But it wasn't until 2017 I actually discovered NoFap. It was during winter break. I watched this one video talking about like the benefits of like, how NoFap's gonna give you superpowers, how women are just gonna be naturally attracted to you and you're gonna be more ambitious and energetic. And I fell into it. I fell into the placebo right when school started. Placebo or not, it changed my life. It really did. When I entered school, I was so much more confident. I was talking a lot more. I felt more energetic. I was laughing more. I was talking to more girls, making more friends. And honestly, it felt great and it was awesome. For my very first attempt at NoFap, I went 90 days without it and I felt pretty good. But after that, I started getting more urges and I eventually relapsed and I felt like absolute crap. And I desperately tried to go back on. After that big streak, it led to like a big binge where I was like doing it every day for like a week and I just felt like crap. And I decided to go at it again and I did another 3-week streak, but I just couldn't keep it up. And dude, this negative cycle, doing semen retention, but then relapsing and binging, like it's kind of like yo-yo dieting in a way where like you diet down, but then you can't keep the caloric deficit going. Then you eat a bunch of junk food for like a week, you gain all the weight back and you try dieting again. The same principle applied for me when it came to NoFap. Like I would go on these large streaks, then I'd relapse, and I just bust nuts every single day, multiple times a day for weeks. And then I'd feel like when I'm empty inside, when my balls felt empty, all right, it's time to like try NoFap and semen retention again. And that was just unhealthy. And this cycle continued for 6 years after. And it wasn't until I finally discovered this mindset shift that I'm going to share in this video right now. So the biggest mindset shift that I recently learned a couple months ago, I've noticed that no successful man for the most part has some vice that is bringing them down. Sure, are there some successful people with addictions? Yeah, absolutely. But one thing that I see a lot of successful people have in common is that obviously they have their stuff together, they're in control of their minds, but their mind is also like 100% sharp at all times. And as a man, and especially if you have a lot of businesses and you have a lot of stress and a lot of things to do, your mind has to be clear and as sharp as possible 24/7, or else the competition will leave you in the dust. And I see myself as one of those men in the future. And if I'm going to be successful, I need to get over this addiction. And that can be applied to any addiction, like sex addiction, drug addiction, any dopamine releasing activity that's dragging you down. Once you come to that realization that if this addiction is probably going to stop you from reaching your goals, and if your goals mean anything to you, then you have to stop. You have no other choice than to stop this, or else you probably won't be successful. I'm not saying that you can't become successful if you're not on semen retention, but if you're someone like me with addicting personality, then a lot of these vices, you might have to take a hard look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I gotta cut these things out. I gotta start cutting out these toxic people. I gotta start cutting out these toxic habits out of my life because they're not helping me reach my goal. And if my life was a lot cleaner, my habits were cleaner, it would definitely facilitate my path to success. And the other realization I made was actually, I saw a clip from Andrew Tate as well. He was talking about how if you can control your mind, you can do anything. So what does that mean? It's similar to the previous point. If you can't control your urges and tell yourself, no, I'm not gonna bust a nut, I'm not gonna do this negative thing that's bringing me down and making my life worse, then how are you expected to become successful? How are you expected to run a Fortune 500 company? How are you expected to manage a healthy relationship? How are you expected to do anything great in the world if you can't get a hold of your vices and your addictions? You can't control your mind. If you can get up in the morning and say, all right, I'm gonna hit the gym, I'm gonna go for that run because I said so, and I'm not gonna be a slave to myself that wants to stay in bed. Apply that to your addiction. I don't wanna be a slave to myself. I'm gonna stop touching myself. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna use the same energy that urges are dragging me down to bust a nut with into something productive, like going to the gym, making YouTube videos, starting that drop shipping company, doing whatever I want. That's gonna pay off dividends in the future instead of cheaply wasting that energy watching or doing some degenerate activities. Another great point that helped me realize I need to stop is from a Christian standpoint. From a Christian point of view, you gotta realize God is always watching. Like, how would you feel if God walked into your room while you're freaking fapping? It'd be pretty embarrassing, right? God is always watching. And if you realize that it is sexual immorality, whether you're doing it alone you're still lusting. It says in the Bible that lust is sin. Even if you look at your neighbor's wife and lust, that is a sin. If you're like jerking off to fantasies of women, that is just as bad as going out and physically sleeping with another person. It really is, according to the Bible. If you have any biblical principles, then you would agree. There's some people that can like touch themselves and do it like morally right, but that is very rare. So honestly, you're better off just not doing it at all. It's not good. It leads to other bad habits. You're gonna feel disgusted with yourself. You're gonna be unproductive. You're gonna waste a lot of your time and energy. And honestly, it's all around a terrible habit, and I highly recommend everybody stop, whether you're men or women doing it, honestly. And one little tip, if you're struggling with this addiction, the best thing to do is realize your triggers. Understand your triggers. For me, for example, is, dude, I'd use my sheets. Yeah, like these big sheets that are like really soft and comfortable, get rid of them. And I know it's like once I got rid of like those big sheets and even pillows too for my bed, because I always get tempted to like go to my bed and like do it. So just get rid of them. Like anything that's gonna tempt you to do it, you need to get it out of your house. It's just like somebody who's trying to quit cigarettes, right? If you're trying to quit cigarettes, don't keep a pack of cigarettes on your kitchen table after you wake up in the morning, you go downstairs for breakfast and you see them. Yeah, you're gonna be tempted. You're more likely to wanna relapse on your cigarette quitting journey than if you didn't have any cigarettes available to you in the first place. Same thing with masturbation. Don't have any of your triggers. Don't have any like those porn sites open. Have somebody keep you accountable. Tell somebody you're gonna embark in this journey, and you got to tell them, if I relapse, I owe you like $100, and that'll probably get you on the path, get you serious. So yeah, understanding your triggers, man, super important. And another benefit I noticed is like I'm less afraid to talk to strangers, approach to strangers, say, hey, like that, literally. So if you guys did miss part 1, I want you to watch it here, where I explained how exactly semen retention changed my life. If you're very interested in that, and this is new to you, definitely watch that video, highly recommend it. And my whole message behind my channel, guys, is I just want to make men more masculine and set men up to the path of success like I currently am as a 25-year-old, and understanding like certain habits and challenges and trials and errors that I overcame to become a better man, and enlighten you guys with it, and hopefully help you guys improve and set you up for the path of success. So hit the subscribe button if you vibe with me and you like this video, give it a like, and check out part 1 if you didn't already. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.